Good morning from not so sunny Florida today. It's not always sunny down here. Rob Harrington, cranky old car guy. The long awaited, much promised, your process for buying a used car, 2023. First of all, not a great time to buy a car, nor is it a great time to sell a car. I know that makes no sense to you, but you have to look at supply and demand. The supply is very low, the demand is very low. So we don't have one of those effects counterbalancing the other. So to be a great used car buyer, you're going to have to do some research. And it doesn't involve sitting behind your keyboards the entire time and hiding like a ghost and not following up on the contacts that you're making. If you make 20 contacts on Facebook, let's say, and you don't talk to any of those people, you're wasting your time and you're wasting their time. So let's begin. I break it down into 3 phases, and I wrote a book in 1992 called The Guerrilla Automotive Shopper. Google Rob Harrington Guerrilla Automotive Shopper on Google or whatever, and you're gonna see the book out there. I gave 14,000 books away for free as a marketing tool for my buying service in the Atlanta days in the 90s, and gave them away for free. Now people sell them online on Amazon. Well, God bless them. Capitalism does work sometimes. So anyhow, the first phase that I discussed in the book that we can now apply to doing your proper research to save the most time, effort, and money. You're going to have to invest a little bit of time to do this, but it will save you more time in the long run. The first step is going to be, of the 3 steps, we'll call it the first phase, is your research phase. And the internet's a great way to utilize that information. Look up the worst cars or the cars never to buy online, and then look up the best cars or vans or trucks or Jeeps or whatever it is you're interested in terms of trucks or cars or vans or sport utilities. Google up the worst to own and the best to own. Start there. Talk to friends, family, and relatives and find out what vehicles have worked for you in the past, which vehicles did not work out for you in the past. And keep in mind, too, that every car is individual, and it really depends more on who owned that car and maintained it, the person before you bought it, as to whether or not they took care of the car or not. You could take the best Toyota, the best-selling vehicle in the planet, and if the person that owned it before was a complete knucklehead and didn't take care of the car, didn't maintain it properly, it's going to be junk too, like a lot of the domestic nameplates. So anyhow, a grain of salt with that. So bottom line, start with figuring out and have a pad of paper and a pen and write at the top of it, if you have to, remember my next used car research. And then use that pad, if you will, of information as a way to track your progress through the 3 stages, if you will. The second phase is going to be what I call the contact phase. That's where you're actually not just typing emails and texts, but you really want to get involved with talking to the seller. And there was a video I put out on the phone conversation that there's a lot of things you want to ask the seller that will help create a better car buying environment for yourself. A lot of these questions are going to be, how long have you owned the car? Did you stay on the proper maintenance on it? What needs to be fixed on it right now? If you're going to show up and drive this car and the seller's not being honest with you, walk away. They need to be totally upfront with you and transparent as to what they're selling, because that has a lot to do with the value of the car, obviously. So make your phone calls and take your notes on your shopping pad, if you will, and also start booking out cars. Budget-wise, get pre-approved on your loan. That should have been done before you did anything. Remember, get pre-approved first, have the money sitting ready to buy, because why bounce off the walls of dealerships or of the internet and you're not going to get approved for it, which means you're wasting your time and the time of the seller. So don't waste your time. Get pre-approved first before you do any of this, right? We talked about that in another video. So the third phase, after you've established your relationship with the seller, because how are you going to win any battles if you don't have a relationship with them? It doesn't work. You just can't hope and pray that they're going to drop $1,000, $2,000, because most of them aren't. They're not going to. There's not enough used cars for sale out there that are reliable, decent used cars. Most of them have problems because people can't afford to fix them. In America nowadays, that's the cold-hearted reality. The third phase is going to be your test drive and inspection phase, obviously. So once you've narrowed down, you've made your calls, you set your appointments, the car's lining up budget-wise, your wants and needs have been attended to, because you have to attend to your wants and needs. Why go buy a sports car if you need a van to haul your family around? That makes no sense. Why buy a compact car if you need a truck to run your business? So you have to have a little common sense of which type of vehicle is going to best suit your wants and needs. That also has to be part of the first things you do when you start your initial research. So during this phase of actually going out and test driving, when you're test driving the car, don't test drive it for a mile. Get it around the block. I'm sorry, scratch that. Don't take it around the block. Get it out on the highway and spend 15, 20, 30 minutes driving the car. If the seller doesn't want you to drive that long, walk away. They're hiding something. But a long test drive is the best test drive. And second of all, check out all the knobs and buttons and bells and check everything out. Take your notepad with you, write down what needs to be fixed, because most of the time there's going to be things that need attention. You need to decide if they're important or not important, if they need to be done now or 6 months or a year from now. Maintenance is an issue that it's not the seller's responsibility to maintain your car for you a year from now. That's on you. So keep that in mind. And then your inspection, always get them inspected by a qualified mechanic. Always, always, always. It's going to cost you a little bit of money. You're probably going to walk away from a bunch of cars, but do you want $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 problem down the road, 2 months, 6 months down the road? The answer should be no. So start with the three phases. To summarize one last time, I know I'm going a little long on this video. The three phases are your pre-research phase, writing your notes down. You're basically covering your wants and needs, get your budget handled, book cars out using, for instance, J.D. Power's, NADA, same thing. Know what you're about ready to get into. Know which cars are better cars than others by and large. Hopefully they've been well maintained. Second phase is to make your phone calls, ask the relevant questions about the cars, the condition, the quality, if they've been maintained, blah, blah, blah. The third phase is going to be your test drive and inspection phase. If you're not doing those three phases in that order, you're doing it backwards. You're doing it wrong. So if you want to save the most time, effort, and money, start with the three phases of how to buy a car, a used car properly, that will wind up saving you the most time, effort, and money in the long run. Have a great day. Signing off from sunny Florida. Bye.